Okay, I figured out why his mortgage is $6,000, and it took me a minute to see it. But let's talk about it. I put my realtor cap on and did a little research. So, for those commenters who have accused me of not having a job, yes, in addition to hosting a true crime podcast, I am also a realtor licensed in both Virginia and West Virginia. So, let's get into why they had a $6,000 mortgage and why they didn't need to have a $6,000 mortgage. So, interest rates have been high for the last year or so. We all know that. And honestly, that combined with the fact that I assumed he got a VA loan where he put 0% down, like this commenter said, I assumed that that's why it was such a high mortgage, but I hadn't actually done the math on it. So I decided to do that. Now, we don't know what his interest rate was a year ago, but let's just say worst case scenario, it was 7.25%, which is pretty high for a VA loan a year ago. But again, it's just a number to go with. So if we go with that and the property taxes HOA dues, 705 sales price with 0% down, that gets us to $55.70 a month. Now, that's not 6,000, but I can see why the lawyer was just rounding up. So again, I was like, okay, it kind of fits. But then I looked a little deeper and I saw that his mortgage amount was only 564, which is not coincidentally 20% less than 705. So that means he actually put 20% down when he bought his house, meaning $141,000 in cash. That's plus closing costs, which would have been anywhere from 3 to 5% of the purchase price. So he put down a significant amount of money a year ago when he bought this house. So then I did that math, and that made even less sense. If you do a mortgage at around 568, then you're only in the 4,000s for the mortgage. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Then I looked closer. I missed this the first time I looked, but boop, 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 boop. So it was a VA mortgage, but mortgage term, 15. That means he had a 15-year mortgage instead of a standard 30. And when you do that math with a $141,000 down payment on a 705 sales price with a 15-year term, that gets you to $59.10 a month. So what does this tell us? It tells us that a lot has happened in a year financially. A year ago, he had over $150,000 in cash that he was able to bring to the closing table to buy this house. He also bought the Tesla right around the same time, so that was another expense of some amount. We know that he could have had a mortgage that was in the 4,000s, but he chose to do a 15-year term, which put his mortgage closer to 6,000. And you only do that if you're confident that you're going to be able to keep on paying that amount. Now, a lot of people had said that, it's common for South Asians to rent out the basements of their homes. And that is actually very true. It's been my experience as a realtor. I've had a lot of families who have specifically looked into the basement space. Is there a full kitchen? Can a full kitchen be put in? Whether it's to rent it out or if it's for additional family members or whatever. So that part is very true. And so that doesn't necessarily mean that they did that because they were having financial problems. But something happened. Something changed drastically in their financial situation from what it seems like. So I am still wondering if the pressures related to whatever was going on could potentially be a contributing factor from somebody who in 1 year went from being able to put $150,000 cash down on a house and buy a Tesla to needing a public defender and having to sell his car and being completely in debt. It's something to think about.